844 rifles, 112,500 ammunition in Nigeria's ports. The weapons came into Nigeria from Turkey, according to customs. Well, this and many more will form the basis of our conversation this morning. We also have terrorists in the news. Ambush security convoy kill 5 police officers in Katsina State. We also had the Borno bombing yesterday. So we will be looking at all that this morning on the show. This is the front page review on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. Apologies for starting the show quite late. I mean, there's a lot to be considered at this point while doing business in Nigeria. Anyway, thank you so much for always staying tuned on VOP 96.1 FM. Of course, this is the front page review, and my name is Gesire Agua. We're live on YouTube at Voice of the People Abuja. Voice of the People Abuja. We're live on YouTube. You can join us. And then you can also reach the studio lines at any point during the show on 0808 312 8618. That is 0808 312 8618. That is the number to call to be a part of the show this morning. Also, we'll be looking a little bit at some of the trending audio in the news. But before we do that, the Comptroller General of Nigeria Customs Service, Bashir Adeniyi, has narrated how 844 units of assorted rifles, 112,500 pieces of live ammunition, among other contraband, were intercepted at the Onne port, River State, South Nigeria. Mr. Adeniyi narrated this on Monday at a media briefing at Onne Area 2 Command, organized to declare the seized items and hand them over to appropriate authorities. Based on intelligence sharing, a 40-footer container with no MAEU, with that particular number, which originated from Turkey, was tracked based on some risk factors associated with its importation. The container, laden with rifles and ammunition concealed in various items such as dolls, furniture, and plumbing fittings, was intercepted at a bonded terminal of the Onne Airport. The Onne Airport, rather, on the 21st of June 2024. The intercepted container laden with rifles and ammunition has a duty paid value of more than 4 billion naira. Wow. In connection with this seizure, we have 3 suspects in our custody after securing a detention warrant from a competent court of justice. A thorough investigation is ongoing to ensure that all culprits involved in this nefarious business face the full wrath of the law. Mr. Adeniyi said that the rifles and ammunition would be handed over to the National Coordinator of Small Arms and Light Weapons, Johnson Kokumo, a retired Deputy Inspector General of Police who was also present during the declaration. Nuri Ribadu has also spoken on the seizure. He expressed concerns over the recurring proliferation of small arms, light weapons, illicit drugs, and money laundering across the country. I mean, he said that the menace had continued to fuel criminal activities in different parts of the country. I mean, we're seeing more and more assaults, especially on citizens so far. I mean, it's not that it wasn't there before, but it has increased. I mean, could the president or the presidency, the federal government stance on this situation, could it be true that maybe because of the successful raids on some of the bandits, some of their hideouts, the successful operations that have been hit on them so far, could that be what is triggering the response, the equal incessant attacks on Nigerians at the moment, right? Could that be true? Well, do shed light on this, or do shed your thoughts on this on 0808 312 8618. Still in the news, we have the federal government revoking about 870 billion naira worth of road contracts. 2,270 projects suffer delay. The federal government on Monday revoked the 870 billion naira highway contracts awarded to 3 construction companies, Dantata, Mavakat, and RCC, for non-performance. The Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, ordered the termination of the contracts of the dualization of the Obajana Benin Road as 2,270 road projects nationwide suffered delays. Umahi asked the contracts 24 hours after issuing an ultimatum to the contractors handling the various projects to sit up or lose their contracts. Upon assumption of office, he had stated that he inherited 2,600 uncompleted road projects, but this figure has been reduced to 2,270 following the completion of 330 emergency projects after an appropriation of 300 billion naira by the federal government. Well, it seems as though because 330 emergency projects so far in a year seems to be a lot. If you look at so many factors that deals with constructions. You're looking at weather conditions. You're looking at availability of materials readily when you need them to be projects like this. And then in a year, you've completed 330. Goes to you, the Minister of Works. But when you're around at the moment, right? When you look at projects that have been rushed, because it said emergency projects, that means it has been done quickly. The quality of that project, is it world standard? Is it at par with what is attainable everywhere, right? Is it the quality of these road projects? Are they ones that will not erode over time when small rainfall like this road for Nigerians? Because it doesn't make a lot of sense to spend so much money on a project only to have it deteriorate in quick time. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Roads, when you're talking about the wear and tear of roads, you're looking projections of years. You're not talking months. But majority of roads we see today, especially in Nigeria, we're seeing them eroding in months. Potholes here and means something must be amiss. It's either we're having contractors who are cutting cost by reducing the sharing. When it comes to bitumen, asphalt, everything that is put inside, there's a ratio to these things, right? So when you put them into the mixing machine, when you have all that in one place, if you reduce the quantity in one way or the other, you reduce the ratio in one way or the other, it reduces the quality of the road. So are we having a situation where some individuals in the federal government are taking out a share? Because we've heard this in the news. Are they taking out a share of the contract money, and then the contractors are left with way little than they budgeted? So they have to just make sure that they deliver something. So what exactly, when it comes to road constructions, you look at so many ways with which people steal money either from the government or from Nigerians. So it's just a mix up of a lot of things. But we'll be looking at that in a moment. Let's get to speaking with Rufai Oseni right about now. Later on the show, we'll be joined by Mr. Larry Ogoego. But for now, we'll be reaching out to Mr. Rufai Oseni. I'll take a break. When I come back, we'll be speaking with Rufai. Stay tuned. You're welcome back. This is still the front page review on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. My name is Gesere, and we've got Mr. Rufai Oseni on the phone. Good morning.
Bless you, Gesere.
I'm
How's it going?
fine. Thank you so much. Mr. Rufai, Customs yesterday intercepted 844 rifles, 112,500 ammunitions in the Nigerian Onne port. We're seeing more and more assault rifles, live ammunitions getting into the country now more than ever. Could it be that, what has been said so far, that there's been successful raids on these people's hideouts, the bandits' hideouts, and that's why they're now equally, putting up more pressure to ensure that their own operations go successful.
The question the customs should ask, and it's a good one, commendations on the cracking of these weapons.
Mm.
But the questions the customs should ask is, who are those bringing these weapons in for them? Who are the ringleaders behind it, and how can we crack them? I think that's the most important slant of the conversation we're not always talking about. The fact that people can bring, tomahawk magnum, pump action rifles, and drugs. There was also drugs. So it's a cocktail of a crime activity. Over 1 million bottles of cough syrup with codeine. So that the people that will shoot those guns they are bringing in are going to be high codeine and drugs. So if that is happening, who are the people, the ringleaders behind it? Who are they? What is happening? How can we crack them? And I don't think it's for the customers that say, we'll not allow this to happen on our watch. Yes, you are cracking down, for kudos to you. But the most important thing is, how can we crack all of this rubbish that happens?
All right. When we're looking at this issue of security, Mr. Rufai, while we're on this, we're still having terrorists who are ambushing security convoys, killing police officers in Katsina State. So it just feels like there's a lot at different points, different parts of the country, when it comes to security, from the north to the east to the west and the south.
So the
There's
question
just
is,
a lot.
what are we doing to crack it?
All right. We're moving on from that. We have, while we're still on this, we have the Arms Center to destroy 4 billion weapons that were seized by customs. Right, the National Center for Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons has said the large cache of arms and ammunitions intercepted by customs would be destroyed after documentation has been completed. The Nigerian customs seized this particular amount of the 844 rifles and all that, and they were said to have been skillfully concealed, in different items, things like doors, furniture, and all that. And basically, they want to destroy these seized arms and ammunition. And I'm wondering, why the waste? Aren't these things that we can use? Mr. Rufai?
I always hear the argument they make when they say, oh, they have to destroy it, because if you leave it like that, the real owners of the arms can come and pick it up by any other means. But the truth has to be told. We need to also be very firm on how we can handle these harms. And I don't believe in the destruction anyway. I don't believe in the destruction. Because even if you are going to prosecute in court, you will need these arms as evidence, wouldn't you? So those are the point of view I have as regards to court. I always hear the argument, they don't believe in that argument.
You're talking of weapons. If at all anything, why can't we resell it outside the country somewhere and then get the money? This is 4 billion naira that we could have added to in our fight against insurgency. Why exactly do we have to take the route of wastage when we're doing things, and then we rationalize it with some? How does it make a lot of sense right now? That's where is the argument is that the owners of the real or the rifles will come and collect them. Yes, we've seen situations like that. So this argument is weak.
Like I said, I get your argument. I get your position. But the truth has to be said. We also know what happened My point of view, how can we keep things intact? At least use those weapons. Use those weapons for Nigeria. So that's the most important thing. That's what.
All right. On to in when it comes to this issue of fuel, we've been talking Dangote fuel for a long time, and right now marketers are fearing a high-priced petrol ahead of the supply. The PMS from continue to import crude oil from the United States and other countries at a higher cost, and this development is made its diesel and aviation fuel not very attractive to some local marketers due to the price reasons. I mean, we're still having a Dangote refinery in port.
Jesse, I think let us wait as regards what Dangote will sell before the marketers start the price up. Because don't forget, that some of the marketers, the Dapma marketers and Dangote have been at each other for a bit. At gas pricing, even as regards allegations that some people dirty fuel and things like that. So let's wait and see what is going to be said when all of that stuff. That's what I just said.
All right, let's watch and see. Moving on, we're seeing Wike backing up another, duel with Ireti Kingibe. He says you won't return to Senate in 2027. This is what he has told her.
Can we ask him that question? Is Wike God? What right does he have to say Senator will not return? See, these are part of the overreaching politician. You're having a feud with somebody who you're supposed to work with the development of the FCC. She's the serving minister. She's the one that represents the people there. See, you might not like it from your part, but you need to work with her. We must not be friends workspace. You might not want to see my face. You have to work with me. So the earlier he sucks it up and works with her, that is it for everybody. Sure and simple. To be able to bury the hatch for the interest of work, except if you're not passionate about the Nigerian people, which they both have to work for. You don't need to like my face, you don't need to like my gut, but you need to find a working relationship. So both of them must be able to suck it up, grow up, and face the work. Can I have a working relationship? I'm not saying you must be my WhatsApp buddy, send me inspirational messages on WhatsApp, or be my chum buddy. But we just need to work and get the work done. Just get the work done. I mean, having a working relationship, but with mutual respect. Pure and simple.
Some people have used.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some people have used the word bully to describe Enrique, especially in how he dispenses his duties as a minister of the cabinet, right? So we begin to wonder, why exactly has he been allowed to?
For me, I don't like the word bully because it's a glorification. It's who you want to be bullied that gets bullied. It's your perception. For me, as I am, I don't think anybody else can bully me. I've interviewed this on Wicked and I stood my ground. I know my stuff. I know what I'm made of. So I don't believe Wike will bully Ireti Kingibe. I don't want to use the word bully. No, it's not. And I believe when we keep saying there's always a bully, you keep glorifying them. We must also be able to teach people to stand their ground. That's just it. We must teach them mental toughness and resilience because that's what runs life. But life will be tough sometimes. You'll have challenges. They will not go your way. You will lose some, you will win some, but you have to keep fighting. I mean, I keep on my Sunday morning show in Lagos, which I think you guys should start carrying again in Abuja very soon because it's very impactful. And I did some episodes out of Abuja. I played a talk, a commencement speech by Roger Federer in the university. And guess what Roger Federer said? He said, you see me, I'm a Grand Slam title winner. But in almost all my over 1,500 games of tennis, guess how many percentage of the points I did win? Only 54%. Which some people will call a failure as regards winning points. But it's the resilience to keep winning the points that will make him a great winner at the end that matters. And the truth has to be said, even Novak Djokovic, Nadal, one of them won up to 60% of the points in all the games they played. None of them won up 6 layer. Because when you play tennis for after 1 hour, 30 minutes, it's your head that is working because your legs are wobbling, your hands are already wobbling. But it's your mind that is controlling the shots. And you have to keep going on. Especially when you don't have those laborious tie breaks. So it's about mental toughness. And when you have that, nobody will push you around. But they must find a working relationship.
All right, let's watch and see how this drama plays out because we still have the Rivers one still brewing right there, and then he wants to embark on another one right here in the FCT. I mean, so far, Ireti Kingibe has been complaining that he's been sidelining all through since assumption of office, and this is someone who's supposed to work together, especially because of the fact that she's a senator representing the FCT.
Yeah, they should work together. They should look for ways to work together. They might not agree on anything. You don't agree on anything with people that you work with, but at least you will get work done.
I mean, we've crossed over that 1 year mark. Can we start seeing some of the dividends? I mean, people were arguing when it was 9 months that it's not enough to start seeing some of the fruits of his labor, right? This is 1 year in. We're supposed to have seen a couple of them right now. I said you should be able to complete a house. If you were building a house in a year, you should be able to complete it.
Oh, no, yes, I really completed the vice president's house with over 20 million in a year. I'm being tricky there. It's true now. So, if they can complete the vice president, that was their priority. If they can put in their budget to build a National Assembly library, which I know most of the lawmakers will not go to, that was their priority. They said they want to build a healthcare center when you already have a state house clinic. You have, why didn't they put that money in Guagalada National Hospital? Set up a wing for them there in the National Hospital. So, I mean, these are the factors. So it speaks volumes of the waste that has gone on. And at the same time, hope you know that we've taken a lot more loans. So I was giving empirical fact the other day. As when his administration kicked off, debt to GDP ratio was over 30%, about 38 and 9, close to 40%. Today it's about 52%. This is one of the highest in the last 10 years in recent times. Because normally in the early 90s, we had very high debt to GDP. We had over 70% debt to GDP ratio. Even that when Obasanjo took over, it was about 63%. Then, after the Paris Club debt forgiveness, it came down to about 7, 8, 9%. That's in 2007. Then when Jonathan left, it was about 20.3%. But then Buhari took a lot of debt for Coastal Road. That Coastal Road cost can actually fix all the pending roads in the country. I didn't say it. Mr. Omani said it. I didn't say it. Minister Omani said it. So I would have thought, rather than build a new road for a stretch for 15 trillion, why don't you take that money and say, okay, let's fix all the existing roads so we know, okay, we'll fix all the roads that are pre-existing or that are existing on our books that we're not finished paying for. Start on a new stretch. So it's a justification of how they spend money.
All right. We still have, upon security issues, we still have the food crisis. And some people in a particular village in a local government in Kwara State, they're calling on the president to tackle food crisis and do what needs to be done to ensure that there's stability, because things are just going up and higher and higher and higher. And we begin to wonder some of the promises that the federal government has made so far with regards sharing of grains, planting of so many different things that the federal government has promised so far. We've not seen any of them come to fruition. But right now, what exactly is the agricultural minister doing about it? Because that is one particular ministry that we should have been hearing from incessantly this period.
This cultivation across the country. This year there was some fertilizer injection, part of the former stock of fertilizer that it was said that it mentally bought. The question is, what came out of all of that? Questions. Some people argue, it's the case with the middlemen. It's the middlemen that are shellacking other people in the system. It's the middlemen that are causing the pain, the wanting destruction. the suffering, the avarice. The question is, what is going on? Why all of this? So we start to ask the very difficult questions. We will not move forward as a country. And that's one thing we're not doing enough. How can we crack the middleman? The other day they said they were going to bring out food from National Grain Reserve. Do we even have a working National Grain Reserve that's got like 40,000 tons of grain? Do we have that working? These are the myriads of challenges.
All right.
And we're not building. We're not building. We're not even storing properly. Food security, food sustainability is a big challenge in the country.
All
It is well
right.
good.
Mr. Rufai, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you.
That's
Thank you so
good.
much.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Have a good day. All right. So we're going to pay bills. When we come back, we'll be speaking with Larry Oguego in just a moment. Stay tuned. Yeah, welcome back. This is still the front page review. Voice of the People 96.1 FM is the station that you're tuned into at the moment. You can call the studio line 0808 312 8618. 0808 312 8618. That is the number to call to be a part of the conversation this morning. We also have Mr. Larry Ogoego on the line. Good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we doing this wonderful day?
We're doing good. Thank you so much. How's your end?
Yeah, great, great. God is helping us. We're fine.
All right. We have customs intercepting about 844 rifles, 112,500 ammunition in Nigeria's on air port. 844 units. That is a lot. It's a lot at this point. I don't know what else we can do in terms of security, but now more than ever, we think the president should be focusing more, or is he already doing enough?
Well, that is good to know that it is actually possible to intercept such contraband, especially at this time that we're experiencing insecurity. But we also need to do more. We have to look at our porous borders. I think the major challenge with light weapons, basically, is the problem with the land border. We have massive unmanned land borders, especially the north of the country. In fact, all over the place, all over the place. People practically walk in and walk out as they like. And that is one area we must necessarily look at. Of course, we are aware what happened up north, the Sahel, with the Libyan crisis and all of that, the proliferation of light weapons. So even if we're able to check what comes in through our the regular borders, what happens, that is our regular border posts rather, what happens with the issue of smuggling weapons? And then how do we manage that? We need to become intentional about solving the security problem, looking at the most critical challenges, especially how these guys get their supplies. Beyond and beside weapons, they need other supplies. So how do you manage the supply chain? How do they get food when they kidnap people? How do they get food when they lodge in the forest? The tax people, they collect money from them. Do they keep the millions upon millions they collect in cash? Do they bank? Do they convert to foreign currency? We need to ask intelligent questions and provide intelligent solutions. I don't think we're doing enough for that now. But kudos to the customs. I hope they will continue doing that. But beyond the ports, I think we need to do more, especially in making our land borders less porous.
Mr. Larry, 4 billion naira is a lot of money, right? Is it possible for us to even partner with a Dubai, for example? Because I mean, we've seen them list out terrorists who are, terrorist financiers who are on their watch list. We've seen them, work on this issue of terrorism so far. So, is it possible for us to even partner with a country like that to ensure that at least we're tracing the money? 4 billion naira is a lot.
Sorry, what was the original question you asked? Sorry, I think I missed something there.
Yes, I talked about the fact that we've seen Dubai listing out, terrorist financiers who are on their watch list. A couple of times they've called out a couple of Nigerians who they are also watching as well for financing terrorism within their own region. So, is it possible for us to even partner with them to ensure that, okay, the financing part of it, following the money, is done appropriately? Because these guys have a lot of funds, unfeathered
Yeah,
funds that Nigerian, that we could actually benefit from ensuring that we plug in,
yes,
clock that place
yeah,
away from us.
we can partner. I think that's the question that we should ask and also answer. We can partner. The truth is that I don't think we have the political will to stamp out terrorism and banditry. I think we're probably bothered by others. When I say we, I mean the political elites. They are not prioritizing the issue of stamping out these problems. But we can partner. As a matter of fact, we've had announcements before now under the Buhari regime when they will talk about we now know the sponsors of terrorism. And we now tell them, okay, tell us now. Then light will go off. No more news. We are now going to prosecute the sponsors of terrorism. Where are they? Till today, we have not seen them. So we can partner, but I don't think the partnership is our problem. Of course, the last time that we had the suicide bombers, some countries, including the United States, offered to help to collaborate. So we are not lacking people who can assist us, but we are lacking the political will to solve our problems. For some reasons, the people that control our political space are not really making security a priority in their actions. I'm not talking of what they say, all those statements that sound like recorded statements. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the choices they make and whether it's really a priority for them. These guys are not spirits. They are not that sophisticated, you know. But unfortunately, the people who are supposed to lead the charge against them do not seem to be interested. So we can learn from several countries in terms of following the money. Already, we even have some capacity in doing that. But unfortunately, we don't seem to have an understanding of how important it is to do that. So I think we'll be looking at not just what we can do, but the people who are supposed to make those choices and do the collaboration. Are they interested, really? It appears to me that they are not interested because they should have been asking for this more than 10 years ago. We shouldn't have waited for this thing to become this bad. But now that it is this bad, are they still looking for solutions, even beside the help? Are we looking at creative solutions, genuine solutions? The answer is still no. So I think we should be looking at not just can we collaborate, should we collaborate? The answer is an obvious yes. If you have a problem you can't solve, you get help. Nations that are really like big boys collaborate with other nations. South Korea is actually surviving the threat of North Korea because of American collaboration and support. If the Americans pull out from South Korea today, North Korea will invade South Korea. Everyone, China, partly, in fact, not partly, mainly because of American support. So these are countries that are doing very, very well financially. They are major global players in terms of the economy of the world. Taiwan controls not less than 60% of microchips in the whole world market. Yet they need help. So if we are not doing anything, even the oil that God gave us to charge, we are not able to give the world. So we are practically on all fours. So we should look for help. But our guys don't need help. I suspect that some people are benefiting from the chaotic situation. Military budget, military spending, agencies, all of those things put money in people's pockets. You may not believe it. But the day they come clean and tell us why they are not really fighting insecurity, we'll get to begin the battle against insecurity. But for now, we're just paying lip service to the conversation at that level. They are not really interested in solutions. As far as I can perceive, they're not interested in solutions. They're interested in platitudes.
All right. The
Yes.
arms center is set to destroy. They've talked about the fact that they've received the 844 rifles and 112,500 live ammunition from customs. They've confirmed that customs have handed it over to them, and these arms and ammunition will be destroyed after documentation has been completed. First of all, a lot of some people are of the school of thought that, okay, this could be a smoke screen. You could say that you are destroying the arms and ammunitions because why would you want to destroy it in the first place? So you can say that you are destroying the arms and ammunitions, and then at the back you go and give it to the individuals who purchased it in the first place, or you use it to arm or equip the different individuals that you want to equip for elections, because we see that happen, cut across different parts, or you give it to bandits. So I don't know what the ideology behind destroying arms and ammunition is in the first place.
We are a very destructive country. You use the word destroy arms and ammunition. We are a very destructive country. I don't think there's any country that has mastered the art of wasting resources more than Nigeria. Apart from the pilfering, the looting, the stealing, we destroy. This is one country that I know of where we arrest a tanker suspected of stealing crude oil, not convicted. And we spend money to fire rockets at the tanker to destroy it. When we fire the rockets, we are spending money because we bought the rockets to foreign exchange. Meanwhile, we don't make bullets. We are firing rockets. Some of them will miss the target. I'm sure you saw the video and fall into the water. So we waste hundreds of thousands of dollars to destroy a ship that can be sold at an auction after conviction, to destroy the ship and pollute our waters. That is how dumb we are as a people. We seize properties, we legislate. Human beings who are supposedly educated, who eat food through their mouth, we sit down and legislate that if we catch a kidnapper and convict the kidnapper, we destroy the house. Destroy it for what? Are you mental? When we are looking for houses for different purposes. We don't have digital libraries. We don't have public libraries. We have people who are destitute, who need accommodation. We have agencies that need space. And what you do with us that you put them down. Hello? So we're a very destructive country. Assuming they want to destroy the weapons without considering that they will do that. What do they do? They will burn it or do some crazy things. So the point I'm making is that we should stop this language of we destroy. There are things that must be destroyed. For instance, if you seize fake drugs, you destroy fake drugs because they cannot be used to anybody. They are fake. If you seize expired drugs, you destroy expired drugs because they cannot be used to anybody. They are expired. And if you want to to burn the fake drugs or expired drugs, you don't pollute the environment with the billows of smoke. No, you use an incinerator that is efficient, or you find other ways to destroy. But a situation where we get weapons and our police are actually not properly equipped in sense of both weapons and ammunition. And we have others that are complaining about being equipped. And you go and destroy the same weapons. Why not catalog the weapons and give them to the relevant authorities, properly documented, and make it public? Oh, we are giving this number of guns to the police. We are giving this number to civil defense. We are giving this number to the military or whatever. Or we are giving all of them to the police or these special units or whatever. Why would you destroy them? You don't make guns. We have a company that was established dedicated for the purpose of making arms and ammunition. DICOM, Defense Industrial Corporation of Nigeria. You know what they make now? Do you know? They make furniture. So I think we're just a very destructive country. We destroy, and God has given us great opportunities to be the leaders of the black race in the world. We destroyed that opportunity already. I hope we'll just recover and help the world with our ingenuity and everything, resources, and girls with destroying things. Matter. Ice magic, even if they, and then give it to people who find it useful, like if it's weapons. But if it's other valuable, and then give it to people who find it useful, like if it's weapons. But if it's other valuable product, you don't give to agencies that need them, or you sell them. You cannot say you are destroying. So why don't they destroy rice? When they seize rice from customs, they want to use the rice for palliatives. Then you destroy weapons. I don't understand how these men make choices. But that is why we are here as a nation. Poor choices lead to poor countries.
All right. Let's move on to Rivers State. It is said that they have set and fixed October 5th for local government elections in Rivers State. The State Independent Electoral Commission has said that they fixed that date during the stakeholders meeting in Port Harcourt yesterday. They have emphasized that it is time to respond to the calls from stakeholders for the conduct of the election following the end of the tenure of the previous local government chairman and councillors in the state. So is this a good thing or a step in the right direction.
Yes, it's fantastic. First of all, we need to restore the power of the people to choose their leaders at the local government level. So to that extent, it's fantastic. And it's one of the steps that will actually help down the tension in River State. By the time these elections are conducted, that's in different local government areas, and people occupy their respective positions, then the issue of who the local government chairman will cease. The issue of whether I have caretaker or not will cease. And then the issue of political structure that always fuels this kind of crisis will also drastically diminish because if you have look at pawn strings for the former governor, you are likely to have less turbulence in Rivers State. But most importantly, we need to get to that point where governors should understand that, constitutionally speaking, the only way to lead a local government area is to have elections. They shouldn't wait for this kind of crisis of whether elongation or no elongation. They have not seen any state governor's tenure elongated because INEC couldn't conduct elections. We need to get to that point where this so-called election commission should be responsible, and the governor should also be responsible. If you know that the tenure is going to expire the next 6 weeks, start conducting elections so that before they expire, you have local government chairman in waiting. Who won the elections, then the day these people will leave. That's how it is done at the gubernatorial level. That's how it should be done at the local government level. They are sworn in as these people are leaving office. So they have some dignity. They will know that they are not, what do they call them again? They are not just pawns in the game of politics for governors. We need to get to that point where we must respect the local government system. I think it should be made clear, constitutionally speaking, that any local government area that is not led by the person, the kind of authority prescribed by this constitution, should not get any allocation. It should become clear as crystal, so that if a governor allows the tenure to expire, they will not get the allocation. And they will not get it doesn't mean they'll get it later. They shouldn't get it
at all.
Be distributed to all local government areas. When we get to that point where these governors know that we are not laughing about it, that if you don't conduct elections, if you don't meet the minimum prescribed conditions for getting these allocations, that will share your money and give to others using the same ratio that we use to share money or prescribe a ratio. What will happen is that because nobody wants to lose money, they will sit up. But as it is now, I'm telling you, it's sad that in spite of all the noise and all the it's happening, but better late than never. Better late than never. Let them hold this election. It will help a lot. First of all, restore full democracy in Rivers State, and secondly, also help douse the tension. Because then what you may call the political structure of Wike would have been seriously dismantled after that election.
All right. So talking about Enrique, he's at loggerheads with a senator representing the FCT, Ireti Kingibe, as regards dispensing duties or working with her, as the case might be, in the FCT. We're seeing him talking about the fact that she will not, on any occasion, be re-elected into the Senate come 2027, as far as he is in this Abuja. Mr. Larry, what's your take on this?
That's not only a terrible statement, it's totally infantile. It's something that we shouldn't hear a public officer say. And it gives the impression that we don't have a democratic dispensation. That's the impression. The impression is that there is something he knows that we don't know about elections and the processes. He suggests that he has the power to choose who wins elections and who loses elections. And that in itself is not only wrong, it is bad for him to make such statements. I think Wike should learn how to rein in his temper and this feeling that he's an emperor and that he's untouchable. I don't know where he gets that impression from. And even if he has that feeling, he shouldn't say these things now. He makes all of us look stupid. He's not the only person. I mean, it makes all of us look like we don't know what we're doing as a nation. That, you come in public space and you say that this person won't win the election as long as you are in this Abuja. and you don't even know when you will leave Abuja or how, if you will be there. So we need to, give some space. Somebody opened his mouth the other day to say that he actually tried to buy votes. This is talking anyhow because of the sense of impunity that pervades our political space. They feel that nothing will happen, and by and large, nothing happens. But one of the things I should do is to advise Reti Kingibe not to listen to him. And this issue of working together, I don't understand the issue of working together. She has a duty to oversight Wike. It's not a matter of whether Wike wants to the oversight or not. And she should necessarily be on the committee that oversights FCT. I understand that they try to marginalize her, but they shouldn't. But if they don't want to do that, she should establish her own structures and do oversight on FCT. She should have a very active constituency office and mobilize the people to do oversight on FCT. She has a constitutional duty to do that. She doesn't need Wike's permission to do that. When politicians understand how to interpret the powers given to them by the Constitution, when Nigerians also learn how to use the powers given to them by the Constitution, when they understand that you don't even have to be a senator to do oversight. The office of the citizen is the most powerful office in this country. Because if you're not a citizen, you can't even contest to be a senator. Neither can you be appointed to be the minister for FCT. When we get to that point, there won't be this argument. Because if I'm the senator of FCT, he is the person who will run. Because I have a statutory duty to look at everything he does. And I will look at them. So she shouldn't be talking about let's work together now, let's work, unless she has other intentions. But if she's willing to do her job and do it professionally, she doesn't need Wike's permission or consent. The Constitution has empowered her to be a senator of the Federal Republic. She should be a senator. Wike wasn't elected by the people after all. She was. Wike can be removed by the president by just a pronouncement without even a letter. You can't remove her like that. It's very difficult, if not impossible, looking at the process in the Nigerian Constitution to remove that woman. So what's she afraid of? She should go and do her job. She doesn't need Wike's permission or consent to do that job.
All right. On a final note, we have INEC saying that the recent flood disaster in Edo State has affected over 4,000, in Lagos State rather, has affected over 4,000 Beavers machines at their office. And he said despite the setback, he has announced that the commission had successfully recovered more than 3,500 of the machines. However, he's expressing concerns that the remaining machines in the affected state might not suffice for the upcoming elections in the state. So at the moment, right, we know that there's been flooding in different areas. Why can't we have these things better protected? These are equipments that can be affected by water. So why can't they be better protected in a safe location?
Well, I just told you that we're a very destructive country. And you should know that when bad things happen, some people benefit. There are some contractors who supply device machine. They'll be smiling now, and then later they'll be smiling to the bank. We like creating opportunities where none exists. Somebody tells that in where it's vulnerable, knowing fully well that it costs an arm and a leg to acquire them, and knowing fully well that we need them to conduct elections. So you ask the obvious, why didn't they store them in a safe place? Why just dump things in containers and just leave them as if they are just... I mean, these guys are not sensitive to how much it costs to procure this thing. And that is why we need to begin to ensure that there are consequences for this kind of mental laziness, for this kind of carelessness in protecting our resources. Because somebody is in charge of keeping that and making sure it is safe. Who is that person? That place you kept it, is it the best place it can be kept? The entire INEC structure, why should they keep those sensitive equipment that are so expensive in places that anything can happen to them? The other day, they fire burnt INEC. This other day, vandals did this one. The other day, fraud. Why? It appears somebody likes awarding contracts, so let things be damaged so that we award more contracts. But when we learn to punish people for being unable to do their jobs well, for their ineptitude. And when we set minimum standards for these things, how do you store materials after the election? How do you even store the votes For how long do you keep the votes? Where do you store them? How do you ensure they are not damaged? We should have a standard operating procedure for everything. We deliberately allow things to be chaotic because in the confusion, people benefit. Somebody should ask who is in charge of keeping and storing that equipment, who's in charge of the safety. Because somebody will say, oh, a flood is an act of faith. But why did you keep it in a place that is prone to flood? We understand these things. It's not like 200 years ago. Now we have 9 we know that flood is coming. We know areas that are prone to flood. We know how to keep things away from flood by and large. So why should we keep those things in such a way that the flood can affect them? These are questions that we must ask and answer. And then when we begin to punish people for their ineptitude, for their inability to do their jobs well, when there are consequences for non-performance, maybe some of these things will reduce, if not stop altogether. But as long as we allow people to create opportunities to enrich themselves fraudulently and illegally by just behaving in a way that will cost all of us our resources. As long as we allow people to get away with this kind of situation, where sometimes we'll even stage manage unfortunate incidents so that we'll just give phantom contract. As long as we don't set examples and ensure that it doesn't treat the culprits, we will continue hearing such stories. Because now somebody is already angling to do the supply. And somebody is happy to do. Somebody will even be inducing other INEC offices to see if some other things can be damaged by flood or damaged by. I mean, we have to really do something about the level of looting and destruction that happens in this country. We're a wealthy nation. Even now, we're a very wealthy nation. But unfortunately, we damage and destroy more than we use. We steal more than we deploy. And we can't make progress like this. God will help us.
All right. On that note, we call it a wrap on the show this morning. Thank you so much, Mr. Larry, for your time. We absolutely appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about the things that concern all of us. And I hope that we're all listening to the voice of the people because they say the vox populi, vox dei, the voice of the people, very often is the voice of God. Do have a wonderful day.
All right, you too. Thank you so much, you listening to us right here on VOP 96.1 FM. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Of course, we're going to continue this tomorrow, 7 a.m. sharp, on the front page review on Voice of the People, Abuja. Of course, at 8:30, it'll be time for the sports bit. Before that, you'll be checking out some tunes. And then at 8:30, the sports bit crew will be here to take you through every single detail of what's going on in the world of sports. You have Jude Bellingham in the news. We have Victor Osimhen as well. So we'll be checking all that out in just a moment to make sure that you keep it locked. My name is Gesere. Good morning.